Okay, so we're starting Atomic Success Secrets, and this has been a dream for a long time come true to have a group of people meeting for healing. I thought back in 2014, it would be around a little campfire up on Mount Baker because we thought we were going to be homesteaders, and God had a different idea. So over the next few years, we found our way back to Bellingham and now Fairhaven, Washington, and I've got a group, and so we've got a daily healing group, and we also have a once a month healing group, and of course, one-on-one sessions. For today, we're going to do a process that that I love, and it's been over the years and over the months lately, a process that's been refined more and more with what we find, because where we are now isn't where we were a year ago or 5 years ago in our healing work, our abilities, and the way we do things, and when people get to where we are now, if that's the way we want to think about this, we're not going to be here. We're going to be farther down the road. And so it's all a process, and it's been wonderful. So we're going to just start with some processes and go from there. So first, if you like, just set an intention of what you would like. What do you want? And of course, this can be a thing you can pause the recording and then just go really deep, like, what do you want? And if you had it just the way you want it, what would that do for you? What would life be like? What would be the speed that you would walk? The clothes you'd wear? The amount of money in your pocket? Who you would be hanging out with? Who you'd be helping? How you would handle problems? What would be important to you? What you would be grateful for? Okay, and then we're going to do this process. It's a way to bypass the conscious mind, because in that subconscious and the beyond conscious mind, you'd call it God or the Holy Spirit. It's bypassing the conscious mind. And so there's these points. We're going to press the distal end of the right index finger 6 times. And then imagine like there's a white window frame around your right eye, and then look through it with your eyes closed, and then just answer that question and imagine it and see it. What do you want? And then pat your heart 6 times with your right hand and think very good 6 times. And then squeeze the middle segment of your right index finger 6 times. And think, having all of that, what will you do? Having all of that, what will you do? And see that through that window frame, the white window frame through your right eye. See, having all that, what will you do? And then pat your heart 6 times with your right hand and think very good. And then squeeze and release 6 times the proximal end of your right index finger. And having all of that, what do you want your life to look like? And see that through that white window frame? And then pat your heart 6 times and think very good. And then squeeze the distal end of your right index finger again 6 times. And if you knew you were going to die in the next 6 months, what would you most want to do or be? And if you knew you couldn't fail, what would you most want to do or be? And if you had $10 million in your bank account and you didn't have to work another day in your life, what would you most want to do or be? And then take your right hand and pat your heart 6 times and think very good. And then sit in silence and notice what's happening in your body. And then just think, what is your true heartfelt desire? What do you want? And then let go and notice what's happening in your body. And we're going to go through a little process. Head touches sky. Feet stand on earth. Body relaxes. Mind expands to infinity space. Be respectful externally and quiet internally. Heart is clear and appearance is reverent. Let go of all distracting thoughts. Feel your body inwardly. Entire body is harmonized with qi. Wan Yan Qi. And then let's take your fingers and the very top of your sternum, your breastbone, touch it as if you're touching a butterfly, very light, and then push it up just a little. And then a few fingers on your belly button. And lightly touch and bring it up. And then stay in your body, stay out of your thoughts, and just notice. Notice what's happening in your body. Stay out of your thoughts. Stay in your body. And then take your thumb and your middle finger and touch not the head, but just below the head on either side of your spine, and touch that and the top of your breastbone, and just super lightly touch it and then bring it up towards the ceiling. And then stay out of your thoughts. Stay in your body. Let go of all distracting thoughts. Feel your body inwardly. And just notice what's happening. It's been said in the Bible, be still and know I am God. Be still and know. Be still. Be. And then you can ask that question that doesn't have words. Who am I? And the great Yogananda said the big thing to ask is to ask God to reveal thyself. Reveal thyself. And then just notice, who is it that's watching? Who is the noticer? So four things. What's happening in your body? Follow it. Noticing, are there any thoughts? Notice them. Who am I? Who is watching? Who are you? And why are you here? What's your purpose? And what do you believe to be true? And do you have proof that that is actually true? And who you are and what you're here to do and what you believe to be true, knowing that, what are you going to do? What are you going to do about it? I say that to myself as much as anybody else. What are you going to do? How can you double down on your purpose, on what you are here to do? What's happening in your body? Just follow it. If there's anything that could be slowing you down or standing in your way or stopping you, any obstacles, any problems, you can notice it. And then go in your body and notice the most intense part and the most intense part of the most intense part. Any irritations, any aggravations, any frustrations, any big cries to God, and then let go What's happening in your body? Just follow it. Okay. And then just let go. And let's do this one more time. Squeeze and release the distal end 6 times. Of the right index finger. And white window frame, you're looking through it with your right eye. What do you want? And pat your heart 6 times and think very good. And then middle segment of the right index finger 6 times, squeeze. And having all of that, what will you do? And then pat and release 6 times your heart 6 times and think very good. And the proximal part of your right index finger 6 times, squeeze. And having all of that, what do you want your life to look like? And pat and release 6 times and think very good. And then squeeze the distal end of your right index finger 6 times. And 3 questions in this order. You can touch the belly button and the top of the sternum, super light, pressing it up. If you knew you only had 6 months to live, what would you most want to do or be? And if you knew you couldn't fail, what would you most want to do or be? And if you had $10 million in your bank account and you didn't have to work another day in your life, what would you most want to do or be? And then take your right hand and pat your heart 6 times and think very good. And sit in silence and notice. You touch your belly button and the top of your sternum. Notice what's happening in your body. Stay out of your thoughts. Stay in your body. And then let's wake up. So squeeze your distal end of your right index finger 6 times. Take your right arm and go 4 fingers and then 4 more fingers and then press and release that spot 6 times. And then left hand behind your head, thumb on the point under your nose and press and release 6 times. And then hands under your scalp, and you're going to approximate 6 times. And then take your right index finger and press and release 6 times between your eyebrows and slightly above it 6 times. And then touch your breastbone and your belly button very lightly. And let go. Notice what's happening in your body. Okay, now we'll do our healing one-on-one with us. We have a very powerful group right now. And if you're watching this later, you can see the links to join us.